anymore. I am Louise Rittberg, and I have the distinct privilege of speaking with Katherine Steffens, the retired director of the Secaucus Public Library and Business Resource Center, and the individual who has spearheaded and coordinated the celebration of the 80th anniversary of the library. Kathy, welcome.
Thank you.
We know we are here today in this magnificent facility that is 100% accessible to the handicapped and which houses so much more than just books. I would ask you, however, to take us back 30 years to when you were hired to work at the Secaucus Public Library on Plaza Center Road with then-director Margaret Grazioli, who unfortunately never got to see her dream of today's library.
I will take you back because it's ironic. For the first year of my employment at the library, there was no room for a desk for me, so I did a lot of walking. But because I did that walking, I was through the stacks and looking at each and every book, and that is just a tremendous asset to any job. But to someone who loves a library, that was a gift. I was glad there was no desk for me. Talking about Margaret Grazioli, I believe she saw her dream come to fruition. I believe she had a front row seat in heaven, along with some of the trustees that passed that worked diligently on this project. This project went on since the day I was hired. First day I walked into the office in 1984, there was discussion about enlarging the library. Margaret and I were close friends before I became director. Before I was hired, excuse me. She wanted me to be director from day one. She was writing notes and writing letters that I should follow in her footsteps, and she was most generous with sharing the history that she knew from her 30 years in the library. And since she didn't drive, I got a lot of time with Margaret to hear some of the history and some of the harrowing stories that some libraries went through. So she was my mentor, she was my friend, not just my employer. And I truly enjoyed working with her.
I was at the groundbreaking for this building, Kathy, on a snowy morning, January 19, 2001. From that moment to when the building opened, January 2003, you were immersed in seeing the library's dream begin to become a reality. Can you tell us why the Secaucus Public Library became the Secaucus Public Library and Business Resource Center? And also what it was like to be the go-to person to project the anticipated desires of the patrons and the requirements for the library of the future.
The groundbreaking was wonderful, wasn't it, Louise?
Yes, it was.
It was wonderful because it was a rainy day and we had a packed audience anyway. And that just goes to show you how people love their library. This was a much anticipated building. I had to revise and change and project some of the library's plans when it became absolute that the town fathers were going to build a new building. We weren't just going to be trying to enlarge the old building, which was so cozy, so warm, so wonderful, but tight. So with that in mind, I thought, let's see what we can do to incorporate the businesses. They had come to this area. They were invited to the Meadowlands, the beautiful Meadowlands, and to Secaucus, the jewel of the Meadowlands, but we weren't offering them anything back. And I thought, what a partnership we could have if we did. The WWOR needed special books. They needed special materials, pictures, photos of old actors and actresses, and someone smoking a cigar, I remember one day, and other businesses needed an awful lot of the books that were online, the attorneys' books and different materials that were too expensive for every single business to purchase. So I went to them and said, we'll do this for you. We have a literacy program training your people and their spouses, and we offer back, so you offer to us. That's how it became the Secaucus Public Library and Business Resource Center. So I think it was a wonderful collaborative effort that continues. They gave back generously, and I'm sure if we went to them again, if we have needs, they'll give back again.
And I know the added space in this new building permitted more programs and activities, but I also know that you literally stretched the walls in the old building and began a number of programs there that still exist today, like the literacy program, Friends of the Library, art shows, Adopt a Shelf, computer training programs, and certainly the mini fair. What is your secret to getting people who are just too busy already to volunteer to work with you? It's like your love for this library is contagious.
I hope it's contagious, but I think it was there all along and it needed to be tapped. Everybody became very complacent. The library was there. It was just doing its thing, and it was the best kept secret in town. So I think I could sum it up in one word: surround yourself with good people. That's it. I surrounded myself with wonderful people. 2 of them are sitting in this room. You, Louise, Fred Graffeld, who's doing the camera work. I simply asked, would you help me with this project? Never realizing how long it would take or how many hours you would devote, but you both did it and said yes, because you genuinely love the library too. And now it's an in-fashion thing. Everybody loves the library. What can you say negative about this? It's a beautiful facility. We have a wonderful director in Jen May, and we'll continue. So I hope I got somebody else interested.
And what would you say was your greatest challenge, your greatest disappointment, something you would have liked to have seen happen that didn't, and your most satisfying accomplishment?
Well, I think the first answer is probably obvious. My greatest thinking is about the success of this building. And you see, I was terrified the night before we opened that someone would come in and say, oh, I hate the colors, I hate this, I don't like what you designed over here. And it took so much work, but it didn't happen. I'm sure there are those that wish it was done in different colors, but the basics of the library was so well accepted, and the community spirit that it involved with moving the books over here without hiring a corporation. There were 57,000 of them that came over here by volunteers with that Adopt a Shelf program that you mentioned. They took their books, they fixed them up, and if they were torn and tattered, they let us know, and we would purchase new ones. And so that was very, very satisfying. That was really a great success. So this building, and having put my footprint on it, is the most rewarding experience. Now, you're asking me the opposite, I'm sure, what I regret. What I do regret is going to make me sound ungrateful, and I am not. There's not a day that I don't come into this library and feel appreciative for what was done. But I would have liked to have seen more space around the building, so we could have added perhaps the museum to this property, which would make so much sense. Or historical rooms, music rooms. There was not quite enough space. There was just a program here on Sunday that was packed. It was a cast program, and it was the music of Johnny Mercer. How wonderful. Standing room only. I wished we could have accommodated more people. The vision that I had us doing that, but there's budgetary constraints. No one knows that better than I, so I am grateful for what we have, even though I always wish for more.
Yeah. And when you talk about moving the books and fixing the shelves, and I personally manned a rubber mallet myself, so it was quite a community effort.
It was a community effort, and one of the challenges was to keep the staff, who did an awful lot of work here, an awful lot of work.
Broke many a nail doing that, yes.
Keeping them happy, so we ate many a pizza. But I think they had such pride as well in what they were presenting. They were a big part of this library. They sat in every chair we purchased. They did help design the front desk. So, I mean, I really did truly believe that this should be everyone's building, and it is everyone. You can have no penny in your pocket and come here and get the same service that you would get if you were a millionaire. So everyone's a millionaire in this library.
So now you're retired, but yet you've come back. Tell us what prompted you to take on this huge project of researching the 80-year history of the library as its anniversary comes up next year.
When we were moving from the old library, it was always something I wanted to do to recognize the trustees, especially, who served throughout the years. There were so many dedicated volunteers. We were fortunate enough to discover in the attic the minutes of the meetings starting from 1934 right up until today, of course. And Margaret Grazioli thought they were lost. She thought they were lost in transit from the old library in the town hall to this one. So it was a treasure trove for me. I read and I read. But once I got to this building, as they say, be careful what you wish for, there was so much work to do. And I loved every minute of it, but I didn't get a chance to read every bit of those minutes, which I'm doing now. I waited till I retired. Sorry that we didn't make the 75th, but we're making the 80th. And those minutes are charming and informative and discuss some of the trials and tribulations that the library experienced as they experience these days with the, finances and whatever. We're so fortunate in this town. We have town fathers that agree that the library should be the center of the community. It's as important as the Board of Education, the police department, anything else people look into before they move here. Check out your libraries. And I always wore a pin that said, libraries build community. And even though it's the community that physically builds the library, it's the library that builds the community. I wanted everyone to share that and know about it and put it in their heads the next time they come in, and maybe there's not a book here that they're looking for, but through the consortiums, you'll have it within a few days. So I'm proud of it. I'm proud of everybody who helped to make it what it is. And it wasn't me, it was you and you and you and everybody in this town that had a role in it.
Well, to close, Kathy, I want to thank you for the countless hours you expended contacting people for interviews, coordinating the times with Fred Grayfeld, who is filming this as we speak. This finished project will be a testament to your efforts and Fred's time and cooperation. All residents, present and future, will be forever grateful for this historical time capsule about the library. Thank you both.
Thank you so much.
That's a wrap. Wrap?
Yep.
No phones, no nothing.